How would you feel if your favorite trails in Bragg Creek never had trees again? I'm Joey Reinhardt. I'm one of the founding members of Grow Kananskis. We're joining forces to try and stop the proposed harvest from happening. In 2026, there's a planned harvest that looks like it's going to be about 900 hectares or 833 soccer fields of Moose Mountain and West Bragg Creek that are planned to be logged.
Grow Kananskis is a response to the plans that have been put forward. So a group of dedicated individuals that love the area noticed the logging plans, and so we came together and decided to form a group that can voice kind of the opposition that's in the public. The trails organizations aren't able to do so because of certain agreements. They have to be neutral. So we felt there needed to be a public voice that could represent what's really the feeling of the public instead of this neutral voice that the trails associations are tied to.
And we feel that since the concentration of activity, of recreational activity in this area is so intense, it's the primary area that Calgarians go to recreate in terms of wilderness, that it doesn't make any sense that you would ruin the appeal of it.
So we want to prevent that. We want to have it just be a dedicated mountain biking area and hiking area and nature area for anybody that wants to come out here, snowshoe, ski in the winter. We just want to protect that.
Grow is not against logging as a concept or as an activity in the eastern slopes of the Canadian Rockies. We just feel that there should be more attention or an updated level of attention paid to the importance of this specific area. 20 years ago, when permission was given by the province for the logging companies, at that time Spray Lake Sawmills, now West Fraser Timber, they looked at the value of the timber versus recreation to the citizens of Alberta, and at that time it probably made sense. There weren't that many people out recreating out here. There weren't that many trails. But in the last 15 years, the uptick in creation of trails has been immense. The amount of people that come out here to ride daily, thousands of people come out here to ride daily. If you come out on any weekend, the parking lots are filled to overflowing. On every weekday evening, the parking lots are filled to overflowing. And so if the same measures that were put in place 20 years ago were put in place today, they just took another look at it with the same criteria, there would be another result.
My ideal scenario would be if we were able to negotiate with both West Fraser Timber Company and the Alberta government to give them a trade-off on their FMA. So that would mean to give up logging these areas that we care so much about that have a dedicated user group. We're about 15,500 signatures at the time of this video being made, that we could trade them for a different area that doesn't have a dedicated user group. By no means are we anti-logging or trying to say that this is a terrible thing or unethical. We believe that this is an important part of preventing forest fires, keeping the forestry life cycle healthy, all those kind of things. I'm not an ecology guy, but I can say that, I understand the science and that it's very critical to, the ecosystem at large. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of people that have poured their heart and soul into these trails and care about them deeply, and we don't want to see them get taken away.
Anything that we do in this area in terms of harvesting the trees is going to make it less appealing for people to come here. And if this province cares about the physical and mental wellness of its citizenry, it's important to keep these high density areas of recreational activities protected.
What bothers me is that we're paying a $90 a year Kananskis conservation pass to visit these areas. The government is giving organizations like Moose Mountain Bike Trail Society and Bragg Creek Trails money to build and maintain these trails. And then the government is just standing idly by and letting these companies come in and just destroy them.
Yeah, I mean, the economics of it, when the all-season trail system started in 2011, and shortly after that, we had 2 bike shops pop up in Bragg Creek. There's still 2 bike shops. There's, a lot more coffee shops and places where people stop after going for a ride. I mean, mountain bikers, I saw somebody talk about it, and they're like, all they do is ride and then drink and eat. So it's, you take that away, it's going to be a big impact on Bragg.
If that's not an example of the left hand not talking to the right, I don't know what is. So what we're proposing is working with these groups to find an amicable resolution. I know that the trail societies are working hard to, negotiate a buffer, things like that, mitigate the damage, which is amazing. But what would be even better is if we could just keep the trees on these trails. I don't know about you guys, but I think part of an authentic mountain bike experience is being able to go out and ride amongst the trees and stuff like that.
Our mission is to have it stopped. We've gone through this a number of times. I was involved in the 2012 clear cuts in West Bragg, and it sucks. Like you have what's your special place being threatened every 12 years, I guess now it's been, and so to have it always on the chopping block it's just not. It's not right, and it doesn't help for trail development and investment in the area. So I think we just need to have a recognition of what value this area has in economic terms and just in terms for people coming to Calgary. We hear from lots of people saying I moved here for this reason, and I know numerous people that left Bragg after the last logging round because they just couldn't handle it. It kind of ruined the place for them.
There's no way that any government could look at the importance of these trails to the Albertan citizens and say, you're going to get more value out of it by a $1.90 stumpage fee and some taxation than you are from the soft value of health and wellness, the hard values of the economic benefits of tourism, the film industry, a town like Bragg Creek that exists pretty much, or the retail there exists pretty much because of the people traveling through to enjoy these areas. It simply makes no sense that anybody would log these specific zones.
100%. When you look at, there's been some studies done by the Alberta government on the area, and I think it was 96.4% cited connecting with nature as the reason why they're into outdoor recreation. And when you look at places to mountain bike, especially, I think 71.4% of the respondents were mountain bikers. That's why I keep coming back to that. But when you look at mountain biking, there's nothing left. If you take this away, there's no concentration of trails from beginner to double black diamond within a short drive from Calgary that you can access on a regular basis.
The trail network, it's hard to gauge because for many years it was primarily volunteer effort, which is very valuable, but it's difficult to put a monetary value on. In the last few years, we've been receiving grants again from the government, who fully recognize, well, at least parts of the government fully recognize the value of this, because they're contributing $400,000 a year to the upkeep and maintenance of these trails. Last estimate I saw was something like $6.5 million in terms of the last 15 years of monetary input. But that's a conservative estimate when you're including all the volunteer elements.
For those volunteers, it was just a crown land area where you had an ability to build trails, and it's kind of progressed into like this business. And when the conservation pass was brought on, it was kind of ironic that people that had built the area were now getting charged to access the area. But we thought, the promise was that it was going to be protected and preserved for generations to come. So I think there's no better opportunity for the government to step forward and say, hey, we meant what we said when you bought that pass. Every year when you buy that pass and you see that promise there, here's our opportunity for the government to come forward and preserve and protect for generations to come and stop having this constant threat of destruction over top of us. In 2020, there was a huge growth during the pandemic. So there's over 1,000 a day on average is what has come from that. We don't have the combined numbers with Moose Mountain and West Bragg, but I know West Bragg was over 290,000 in 2020, just that area alone. So you can easily add, the extra 70,000 in Moose Mountain to be over 1,000 a day on average.
If you want more information about what's going on or how to get involved or what you can do next, visit our website, www.growkananskis.ca. When you go there, you'll be able to find exactly what's going on, the layout of what the proposed harvest looks like, information that we have. There's contacts that you can reach out to. It'll help you find your local MLA so you can write a letter. All the ministers, government contacts, people from the user groups like MMBTS or Bragg Creek Trails. And there's even a template letter that you could use to structure and form your own letter to write and voice your concerns. There's also a link to our petition there. You can sign the petition, show your support. And even if you can't make it on May 8th or May 9th, I just ask that you share this video as far and wide as possible. Like, comment, share, whatever it takes. Tell your friends in Calgary. Just get people involved. We need bodies. We need strength in numbers. Thank you.